so bad, but that's fine. Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that was.
Okay.
I can fix that later.
That was quite a loud clap, to be fair.
I'm so juiced up. So much juice.
We're back.
We're back. Hang on, just go on. You keep talking.
We are getting Doug back.
Huh?
Hi everyone.
Oh.
And we're the three best friends that
anybody could have.
Hi everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having a nice week.
Yeah.
Hope you're having a good Wednesday so far.
What a week we've had from our last
Bloody
week. From
hell.
where we were at last week to where we're at now.
Yeah.
It's night and day. Particularly for you, Meg. You've been
Absolutely.
killing it.
There's
You've had an amazing week.
Oh, thank you.
It's been great seeing you just totally lock in and just get your mindset back on track and just getting on it. It's been great. You've had an amazing week.
Thanks, sweetheart. Yeah, like the last podcast we did, I was feeling pretty rubbish, just mentally, emotionally feeling
You're very upset.
just down and not my normal self. And that's totally fine though, because, not every day or everything's going to be, a winner or feeling amazing. But, it's just about like trying to bounce back as best you can and, letting yourself sit in that feeling for a bit and then being like, right, well,
Yeah.
there's not much I can do about things now apart
Absolutely.
from how am I gonna make this week different or make
Absolutely.
this day different and stuff. And yeah, you gotta roll with the punches. I think is that a song?
I don't know. I'm worried that on our last video we got that guy who was like oh, do you remember
Red flag.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was like oh, blink if you need help, Meg, like red flag, and then you've just said roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Like that's some sort of
oh
like
god.
like
That's a code.
that's
Like,
code, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it's been a really good week.
So let's let's take it back. So
Let's recap.
So last week you mini meltdown.
Yes.
You were very emotional. You were very up and down, and that's fine because we all get like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you were saying there were certain restrictions. Not restrictions. There were certain challenges that you were having that were to do with money. That you were like, okay, like
Yeah.
I'm not where I want to. I feel like I'm working all the time, but I just can't. Where's the money?
Yeah.
And where's the where's that, it's summer here, so it's like we should be planning something. You want to go away,
Yeah.
but it's like we're self-employed, we're running the business. It's not always as clear cut as that. You don't always have money to play about with or days off that you can take out to play with.
Yeah.
But then it seemed like, so that was like was that the Wednesday? No, that was
So
the
that was the
Tuesday.
Tuesday,
That was
yeah.
the Tuesday.
So that was
Okay.
after a weekend or 2 weekends, one of being ill, so missing
That's
out,
right. Yeah, you
missing
missed
out on
some-
my
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
And then the next weekend when I came back to work, I had like a pretty poor performing market, which
Mm-hmm.
is so annoying, that the fact that like being ill one week and then having a bad market the next one is like enough to really rock me and stuff. Like I don't like how I let that really get me down and stuff, but
Well,
can't really do
think
anything about it now.
I think that'd get anyone down. You have to,
Yeah.
that you were ill, which is like you had the flu. It's like what, you had the flu in the summer. What's that
Yeah.
about? And then
Yeah.
and then you had a market that was usually pretty good, and it you didn't even make you.
washout.
Yeah. No one's fault,
No one's fault.
Saw something recently with the news. They were saying like that with the economy's doing terrible because of the weather,
That's crazy,
and
isn't it?
because this. I mean, obviously it's June.
That could be
but-
toy propaganda though, you never know.
I mean, isn't all news propaganda to some extreme,
True.
to some degree. But then, so it's like, okay, look, you had all that stacked against you. Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, it's bad. What are we gonna do? But then and then you started the pop-ups at Cow on what day was it?
So then Thursday that week, I was only meant to be in Cow. It's like a small little independent like vintage shop near us, and we're quite pally with everyone there. It's really nice.
Well, they do have them across. They've got them in a
they've
couple
got them
of
in
places.
Manchester and that as well. Yeah. And yeah, I was meant to be in there for a little pop-up on Thursday because Taylor Swift was in town for the past few nights last weekend.
And you only had the Thursday.
I was only meant to be there Thursday, and then
Can I just say,
Yeah.
just quickly, sorry to cut in. This is a really good example of how you went from being like, I've got nothing in the tank. I've got nothing there. There's nothing going on.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to pick myself back up from this? You had, at that point in time on the Tuesday, you just had that
Yeah.
Thursday
And
market.
then a market on the Sunday.
And a market on the Sunday. And that
Yeah.
was a new market that you'd not done before.
Uh-huh.
So those were the only two things in the pipeline. You'd taken a big hit from the previous markets.
Yeah.
Not making that much money and losing money.
Yeah.
And that
losing
week,
money.
that week in particular, all our bills had come out. So that was like one big hit of...
It was
of,
a hit.
You know, so you were on your ass and then... Okay, so go on.
So yeah. And then you had the idea of saying, well, hey, look, why don't you ask to stay for a couple more days at your pop-up, see if you can do Friday, Saturday. And then you even also kindly offered to stand in for me on the Sunday as well, you know, stand at my stall, which is really, really nice of you and very kind.
For me, that's not like a big deal. That's
but
not
you're
like
right, though. You made a good point. You're literally there doing my job, kind of, for me.
Oh, I was only doing that as a joke, like
No,
before when it was like, oh yeah, I'm literally doing your job.
Literally
that's
doing my job.
Yeah, that's just a joke, but like,
yeah, because I was going to be at a market in Manchester. I was like, oh, I want to stay on the Sunday as well, and you were like, I'll do it. It's going to be great. So then, yeah, I pretty much had a pop-up Thursday, Friday, Saturday, myself being in Cow, and then Sunday I was in Manchester.
Which you were only supposed to be there on the Thursday,
Yeah.
and then you rallied and you were like, hey, look, can I...
Got in touch and was like, can I stay? Because Taylor Swift was going to be in town Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I was like, even though Thursday is the day that they were doing this little in-store Taylor Swift party thing, I was like, can I just stay Friday, Saturday? And they were like kind enough to have me stay there a bit longer.
It's very, very good of them.
Which is very nice. And then, yeah, like, I literally had that Thursday, Friday, Saturday was, like, the most successful pop-up I've ever done before. Yeah. And, you know, like, yeah, it was just, like, the most I've sold, most money I've made at a pop-up before.
Yeah.
And just had the loveliest time. Like, there was just the nicest... It was just the nicest couple of days meeting, like... loads of really nice people who were in Liverpool to see Taylor Swift from like all over the world, like the States, Norway, France, Iceland, and just like good vibes and lots of really nice interactions with people. And you came to see me again like you always do every day. And then Sunday came around, you were at my pop-up for the day, which was amazing because it's just another opportunity there of anyone still in town to come by and stuff. And then I was in Manchester at a new market that was near Piccadilly that I think they used to do them a few years ago, but they've recently started them back up, like a different company.
Right.
So I didn't really know what to expect with that one, and considering the weather was pretty bad for the start of the day, it actually turned out to be like a really nice day.
Nice.
And just...
Yeah, nice.
I think I was on a bit of a high already because of the success of the pop-up. So I kind of saw that day as like, whatever happens, I'm here. But... you know, I feel like once you make your table fee, which is usually, you know, like £50 or something, anything after that, you're like, I'm so happy for this right now, because some stalls, when you don't make your stall fee back and you're like, oh my God, like this is so bad.
Yeah.
You've not even covered your expenses for the day.
Money,
you've lost money and stuff, the driving. And then, you know, I always get myself like a coffee and a sweet treat and all that, which I don't count as the expenses because they're my luxury choices, you know.
Sure.
But,
yeah.
But yeah. But so yeah, it was just a really... And also another thing of like, so I was at the pop-up Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I'd be there from maybe 11 till 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And then from there, I'd go straight to the gym, which is usually not my routine. Usually I'm at the gym first thing in the morning.
And you couldn't do that because you had to be
I had to be there. So that was really nice. And usually I'd also kind of be snacking. I'd be eating kind of like
you'd be
not
eating high
great
sugar,
through the day, a lot of
be
sweet treats and takeaways and stuff. But
and you
didn't. I meal prepped all my food, so I had like pasta salads and protein. I made my own like little knockoff Naked protein ball bar things. And then was going straight to the gym, coming back full of energy, like full of like fire.
Yeah.
And then
you'd get straight back on making. So
be right back making, like restocking
all the products that you sold, you'd get back and you'd make them again, and then you'd be doing that for like 3 or 4 hours before bedtime.
Yeah.
Which is insane, because it's like you look at, just look at that, you know, break that down. It's like that's a big thing for someone that you get up and your routine is you work out straight away. which is, that's good. I feel like a lot of people might
Yeah.
get into that
Yeah.
routine. And then you're like, okay, I can't do that. I've got to sacrifice on that. So now my mind's in a different place. I have to focus on my work. And then after being on your feet for like, 6-7 hours a day,
Yeah.
then you're like, and it's amazing because a lot of people do that. A lot of people find that,
Yeah.
that's their routine, which is
Amazing.
insane. But then, you go out, you do that, and then straight from there, you're back home, straight back to your desk, making stuff so that you can get back out for the next day. And it's quite extreme. That is like quite a big, that as a day, it's like there's no minute, you've not wasted a single minute there,
No.
apart from like, you'd have like an hour before bed where you'd just sit
Yeah.
and have some dinner and just
Yeah.
watch some TV. But it's like, look at how you just totally just went, something changed where you were feeling so low. Something was like, you were like, this is crap, what's going on?
You just lose any sense of like confidence as well, like vote of no confidence, but like in yourself, like, and then you just like, all you can see really is like the lens has just changed, and you're just thinking like, oh, this is rubbish, like why am I doing this? Like, it's a waste of time and stuff. And then you have a good week, and then it kind of reignites this feeling of like you can make things happen, like you can go out and make things happen for yourself, and there's always something like to be gained. And then there's also a lot in hindsight, I think, as well, that not that I could have done much differently in terms of being ill and then at the market, that is usually quite a good earner for me, because there's nothing really that I did there that led that to happen, you know what I mean? But in future, it's a thing of like, right, okay, you've had not a great week, that's okay to feel down about that, but maybe it's like a thing of like, well, you might now spend the rest of the day or the rest of the week feeling bad about that, and then what do you really gain from that? You don't really gain anything, because you just sort of wallow in.
You also could have just quite easily been like, what I'm going to do is like, I'm feeling crap, I'll go and do this one pop-up on Thursday, not really put any thought into what you're doing, just show up, you get there, you do it, you eat, you're filling up on junk food because you're not doing your regular routine. Then it's like, didn't do that well, oh well, or God, I did quite decent, it's really annoying that I just couldn't get more days, but they only said I could do the Thursday. It was like, no, you just didn't make any excuses at any point. You were like, okay, I'm just going to basically flip this and be like, how can I utilize every minute and get in people's faces about, can I get here, can I do this, can I do that? And then you had your most successful week ever. Well, for this sorry, for your own, for these pop-ups,
just like in terms of pop-up that I've done anywhere, it was definitely the most successful, and then it was just a really good turnaround, so that feels really nice. And but also maybe not even in terms of like, oh, you're only feeling happy now because like you've made money, you've pulled some money in, and it's like, I think it's deeper than that. I think it's like you've like sort of rallied in yourself to go and to like get things in the pipeline, to be putting on kind of my hat as if to be like, let's go at this 100% today. Like if someone comes over, I don't just want to be sat there like on my phone, not really engaging. I want to be engaging with everybody that comes over, and then and then it's okay, what you do when you get home from here, and it's like you're just gonna do nothing and chill out, and it's like, no, I'm gonna restock what's sold out today, and and all that. So it's like a thing of like you say, not like taking anything for granted. Like, let's see what happens if I run at this like 100%. And then I guess if you always have that in your mind, then you'll always feel like you've done everything you can there. It was a success. Even if it wasn't, like in some ways, But yeah, and then you helped me on the Sunday as well. You were there all day.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Which is really nice of you.
Yeah, no, it was my pleasure. It was great. I was I think like I didn't do too well as the marketeer.
Okay, though. It was definitely quieter on the Sunday. I think people, the Taylor Swift hype had kind of gone by then, because she wasn't in town anymore.
Yeah. But still, I feel like I was like, it was an interesting one because I was like thinking, well, you know, I'll go and I'll try and, you know, I'll be at the market. I'll try and just like have a nice day because I'd popped in and seen you a couple of times and seen, you know, you talking to a lot of like Taylor Swift fans, lots of smiles, lots of positive energy, and I'm like, that's great. Like I should, you know, I'm gonna look forward to that. And then it wasn't as if that wasn't there. I think that.
Yeah, because you're great. Even when you're with me at my pop-ups, you're always
Oh
trying
yeah.
to people and.
But maybe it was just I was getting in my own head a bit, thinking like, is there, you know, there's a different dynamic here. Like I'm a guy. A lot of the people that come to your stores are women, and it's like, okay, like I didn't want to. I was just I was analyzing myself a bit and being like, well, I don't want to come out. I don't want to be like forceful, and I don't want to. Not that I'm gonna, you know, buy some earrings, bitch. But like, you know, I wanted to be like. I want to just, you know, I'm smiling and you know, and like you gave me loads of great pointers, like, you know, ask, you know, make it about them, like talk to them, ask them how they're doing, and then I was like, yeah, I can do that, and then I felt like any time that it happened, it just felt so unnatural, or I was like thinking about it too much. Like someone would just walk in through the door, and I'd go like, hello, how's your day going? And they'd be like, you're right, and then just walk past, and I'd be like, okay, that was too much. And then other times they'd come up to me, and I'd be like, yeah, don't make a big deal, and you know, and I'd just be like, it's you know, it's like, that's too chill. That's too, you know.
I know what you mean.
And then
it's difficult though, because everyone's different. Like some people are literally, like, I think I've done a video about this like ages ago, but some people at these pop-ups or markets and stuff, they're so nervous, intimidated and anxious to even come over to your store. So they'll literally look from afar and be like, oh, like, you know, because they think if they come over, they have to talk, or then they'll have to buy something and stuff. Like, it's, you know, I really wouldn't think that it was anything to do with you.
No, not at all. I guess it's just like
But I get it. If I was a girl, you know, it's a girl coded thing. It's like, oh, like she's got a small business, like she's doing earrings. Oh my god, let's go over for the chin wag.
Yeah, and maybe it's that I was saying to you, like, would it be like that idea of like they look over and they see me, and I was even analysing. I was like, oh, I've dressed like an escaped convict. I've got like a, I was wearing like
nice shirt,
I know
it's
it was like shirt. It was like t-shirt, hoodie. Like green military style jacket, so I felt like there was an air of like
you look nice.
I thought, you know, but this was just me being in my own head going like, why is it that it's been 2 hours and like no one's stopped and said like, oh, you know, whatever. But so yeah, I was just overthinking.
Do you remember anything about the person that did buy something?
Yeah, it was an older woman with her husband, and I didn't have to say that much. I don't feel like they were English. I think they were sort of talking in hushed tones to each other, and it sounded not English.
Any clues on where they could have been from?
I've no idea. It could have been France. They could have been Danish. They could have been German.
European then.
Yeah, I think it was European. And I think she came over and she was just, you know, she was looking, and I was just like, oh, hello, and she sort of smiled. So I was like, okay, and then I said something like, tried to be charming, like, oh, you know, I wish I could take credit for all this, but it's not mine. It's mine.
Nice.
And that was another thing I was worried about. I was like, does this look a bit me dressed like this? Like if you've never seen Rambo, but the opening scene is him basically coming back from like war, and he's wearing like a military jacket, and he just looks a bit rough. And it was like, and then it's like, oh, but I make these earrings, by the way. Like, if that's like a bit of a, oh, what, like that image just doesn't.
I get you. Compute.
But then, she didn't really say much. Then I said that, and then she just sort of laughed, and I was like, oh, okay, you know. And then her husband came over, and she just kind of picked some up and then pointed to me, and I was like, oh yeah, great. And that was it. And there was a few other nice things, you know. I was trying to ask people how they're doing, and you know, I was trying to make conversation and stuff. But yeah, I guess it's different because maybe I was thinking like, well, this is like the only one I've done. I was clearly putting quite a lot of stock into that, whereas you were, you know, you do them all the time, so you probably built up more of a shorthand of just like, oh yeah, you know, I get a feel for how this is going.
I definitely think that's half of it, of just getting a feel for them. Like, sometimes people would walk in and they'd see me and go like, hey, and I'd be like, oh, okay, this person's nice, like, because they've literally just said hi to me instead of walking past pretending I'm not there. So then it's like, oh, hey, like, you know. And then if they're like, if I'm like, oh, like, how are you today, and they're like, yeah, I'm good, like, how are you? And I'm like, thank you for asking, you know. And like, it's a nice little a little thing. Nice, whereas I think sometimes when people walk past, they might look over and smile, so I'll just sort of do the same, you know, like, but it's an interesting one.
It is interesting because I did feel like I was trying to like towards the end I was like, should I maybe tailor my like again, this was just it was quite quiet, so I had a lot of time to think.
Yeah.
I was just like, well, should I maybe like tailor like the how I come, just how I come across? Should I make my, instead of being like oh hi there, I might be like, oh hi, little things like
I
that,
get you.
and
Yeah.
being like, to make
Yeah.
myself more not effeminate but more like, I'm approachable, like,
Yeah.
don't worry, like, I'm just,
I think
smiles and
approachable is the most important thing. I was thinking about this to myself on Sunday at my market. I was thinking like, because the way the market layout was, it was a little bit different than what I'm used to. So instead of it being like a long stretch of like stalls
yeah,
parallel to the pavement,
yeah,
it was kind of like a pavement and then stalls facing this way.
right,
So people had to kind of look and then be like, "Oh, I want to go over and look," and if they didn't, they just would walk past.
okay, right,
So you kind of have to be like, "I want to be approachable here," but I also don't want to be like looking and waiting for people to like turn round to my little section and stuff.
yeah,
And it's a difficult one, but I always just think being approachable and talking to people just as if we're just like talking rather than, oh, I'm trying to sell you something, or
oh no, I did, that's, and
I don't doubt that you would have been like
Yeah.
trying, putting that on people, but
yeah,
I always think that's a nice like disarming thing
yeah,
of like, look,
it's just about you.
we can
It's
talk
just-
about this stuff if you want,
Yeah.
but let's just like have a nice
Yeah.
chat.
yeah, definitely.
And having a nice chat with people all day
yeah,
is a much better thing than only giving the people the time of day if they're going to come over and buy
yeah,
something,
yeah, definitely.
But yeah.
And it was good. It was good for me to be like, again, it was like, look, you don't have to try. I feel like in a lot of my, that's not true. True. I just mean, sometimes I will think to myself like, I'll be in a conversation and I'll immediately, something will click in my head where I'll be like, say something funny or say something quick-witted or try and be a bit, that was to try and like, just to make the conversation seem whatever. And I guess that's because maybe I feel a bit uncomfortable in my own skin, just in like the whole like yesterday, for example, was a funny one. We said when we went to Space and K, we popped in, and you said, I was like, oh, do they do a night cream? And you were like, oh, you should go and ask them. And I was like, huh, okay, like, yeah, I guess I'll go and ask about this. So then, and you'd spoke to the woman, and she was very nice, and you were like, oh, hi hun. So that, you called her, have you got this in stock? And she was like, oh yeah, it's not out, blah blah. And lovely exchange. You were just asking for things, lovely, all smart. And then I was like, okay, well I'm not gonna go over and say hi hun, because that sounds condescending. So I just sort of went over and I was like, and these were all things I was thinking about at the time, and I was like,
that's fair though, yeah.
So I was like, oh hello, do you do like a night cream? And then she was like, so she kind of looked confused. She was like, so what's it for? And I was like, I think it's for like moisturizing and like I think that's the thing. And then she was like, right, and is it for and have you got like really dry skin? And I was like, yeah. Now I'm acting as if it's for me. So it's like, and then she was like, right, because you'll want this. And I was like, and then she was like, is it for you? And I was like, no, actually, no, it's not for me. It's for her over there. And then I point to you. So then I didn't even say like it's for my girlfriend. I was like, no, it's for her. So there was that. It's like, that's a bit weird. And then she came, and then she started talking about something, and she said, did you catch it? She said like, she was like, oh, it's like super thick, and it's because she was talking about this night cream that was like, and it's not scented, and she's like super thick, and you can slobber it all over your face.
Yeah.
And then I said ha, like mayonnaise. Did you catch me saying?
Didn't even catch you saying that.
And I said ha, like mayonnaise, and you two both. I thought that she acknowledged it and was like, and she just sort of turned the conversation into some other thing. But I was like, because obviously, because she
didn't even catch that.
She said something like, she was like, I love slopping it all over my face.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh yeah, like mayonnaise. Like that's like, obviously you don't slop it. But I was like, that was me. I felt like I was at breaking point with how normal I was trying to play the comedy.
Everyone has moments like that though. I defo do as well, where I'm like, I don't even know what I'm saying right now.
It's easier for me to, and it happens all the time. It happens to people in being people I'm familiar with, where I'm like, I've tried to be normal. I've tried to just give a normal sense of the comment, like, oh, you're doing that? Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And I just feel as if I'm lying. I feel like I'm not being real in that moment. But then me going in there and saying something a bit silly or stupid, or like, oh yeah, blah, blah. It's like that comes way more natural. But I wonder if that's not really I can't be doing that. I can't be 37 and saying to people like, oh yeah, like you rub mayonnaise all over your skin, and it's like, This is just someone. This is just a shop assistant in Space and K. I'm like, oh no, you know.
I can't believe I didn't even hear you say that.
Yeah,
I totally didn't register that.
Yeah.
Maybe that means that you make comments like that a lot. You know, and I don't even register it anymore.
I think maybe I probably do. I do think that I've got a habit of just being
Still though, sweetheart, you know, being aware of how you're coming across, that's everybody is sometimes a bit more hyper aware than that. And also the fact that you're like, you know, the fact that you're a man and you're like, yeah, I wouldn't go over and say, oh, hi hon, like, have you got this? Like, the fact that you've got that, you know, self-awareness of how you come across or how you speak to people, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because some people don't, like...
Oh, no, yeah. Like, I would, like, you know, the excuse me, sweetheart, or anything like that.
Yeah,
that'd be horrible.
no, exactly.
But I think, we were talking about this in the car yesterday. It was like, I think I just need to get over this thing of... It's a funny one, because as a man, I sometimes think it's good for me to have a self-awareness of how I'm coming across. I want to, you know, I don't want to come across as being... Because you see a lot of men that are like, are you so unaware of how you're coming across right now? You're coming across really inappropriate or toxic or belittling and especially to if that's, you know, with me, I can't imagine how women must feel. So I'm always aware of like, you know, I want to try and just make people, you know, it's comfortable, and humor's a good way of doing that, because it's like, and especially if you're not taking yourself seriously. I love that.
Story is like, I'll tell you as well. I haven't told you yet.
Great. Okay.
Go on, sorry.
But no, I think it's just like, I feel like I just need to be more like, look, like I was saying this in the car, it's like, I know that I'm like I'm not a bad, or like I don't go into things with this vibe or attitude, and I just need to like stop second guessing. It's like I just need to just be like more, this is me, this is who I like. Yeah, you're probably gonna get a funny turn of phrase or a silly comment or not silly, and like, you know, in like a...
But the idea of wanting to make someone smile or make someone laugh, though, that's nice. Like,
yeah,
I think that is a good thing.
Yeah, and it's
little things just of like, yeah, like, why wouldn't you do that? Because it's positive and it's nice.
Because I guess so much of my life, it's like I want to, in my mind, I'm like, well, I want to feel strong, and I'm a guy that's in control, and I know myself, and I'm not easily swayed, and I'm not, you know, I know my path, and I feel like that. And then it's like, okay, well, that's fine. So you should just carry that within your conversation. But it's that thing of sometimes, you know, you want to be like, hey, you know, I'm this confident guy who's like, yeah, how are you today, and blah blah blah. And it's like, you know, I'm me and I'm confident, and you leave that conversation feeling like, oh, he was, you know, it would not care what people think, but it's like, oh yeah, like I just was, that was a good way I went about that. But then I feel like I can't have that and also have the tongue in cheek.
I definitely think you can.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
That's nice.
I think if you're talking to someone, like, you'll know it. You'll have conversations with people, and you'll think, wow, you are really trying to put across something to me right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're really trying to put a certain persona across to me with the things that you're saying and what you're saying and how you're saying it and stuff. And especially if it's like, when people try and come off being like really confident and like,
to
things
the point
like
where
that,
it's a bit sickly.
you're a bit like, or just little things of saying things, and it's like, let's just be normal. Let's just be normal, and
let's just pull all this down. Let's just like get rid of that.
Yeah, and the fact that you are a very self-assured person, and you're a confident person, but you've got an inner confidence of like, you don't need people to immediately like you. You don't need to be the center of attention in a room. You don't need people to think that like you're the funniest, or like, oh, you don't need to like, you're more interested in like putting the conversation on someone else, asking them how their day's going.
Yeah, I try to do that.
And doing that sort of thing. Even if it's just like a, you know, we're in Tesco and it's like, oh, how about you? How's your day been? You don't realise how rare that is for someone to ask someone that. Like,
yeah.
You know, like, and it doesn't mean then that I'm saying that you're like the super interested person that wants to hear people's life story, because you're also not like that. It's like, no, let's keep this like, you know, casual. And it doesn't need to be like super deep. It can just be small talk. It's funny when people go like, oh, like I hate small talk, and I'm like, come off it. You mustn't have nice conversations with anyone then, because you've got to have small talk every day with everybody.
I feel like most of my conversations are made up of micro small talks all throughout the day.
It's just people you see, you know,
and it's always pleasant. And a lot of the time, you know, it's like you'll see a mate or like someone that you know for a prolonged period, and it's like it's oh yeah, no, it's not good. I'm doing this, I'm doing that.
So
It's like,
true.
oh god, like I just had a conversation with the guy and the Tesco till. It
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah.
Like you know, laughing, joking.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah.
You know.
Have a good day. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
But you pick up on that. You pick up when someone when you get the impression where it's like there's that guy in Tesco, Liam, I think his name is, and
Yeah.
he I saw him the other day, and he remembered my name, and I think I've only spoken to him a handful of times.
Yeah.
He remembered my name, and he was, oh hey Mike, how's it going? And that's nice because you're like, oh I've done,
Absolutely,
you know,
yeah.
just he's asking me about how, you know, he's asking me about my gigs, and he's like,
That's
you're gigging
nice.
this weekend, and I'm like, oh yeah, and it's, you know, it's like how are you, and it's like little
Those interactions mean so much
they
to me.
the
though,
older you
like,
get, they definitely
yeah.
do, don't they? Because it's like you're being more.
Absolutely.
I know it's like he's like that. You're on the job, and this is a fleeting. You know, it's
It
a
is
fleeting
fleeting,
engagement.
yeah.
But you're right. It is like wow,
It
like
keeps
it's
you ticking over through the
yeah.
day. Like,
yeah, definitely.
there's a fella in there. He's like one of Liam's mates. More of a Scouser. He's got like braces. He seems a bit younger than us. Do you know what about? He's like got like slightly ginger hair.
I don't think I do. No.
I'm sure you'll have seen him anyway. I nipped into Tesco on my way back from the gym, from being at Cow on like Friday or something, and I was going the self-service thing. I only needed to pick up like, I don't know what it was, something for whatever I was making for tea. And I'm at the self-service and I'm like, oh hey, like how's it going? And he's like, yeah, not bad, you. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, good. And then how's it been today? You know, and he was like, oh, like busy, but like Taylor Swift and that. And I was like, oh, I know, yeah. Like I was like, I'm feeling gutted that I'm not there, to be honest, with like the hype around it. And he was like, yeah. And then he was telling me the story of someone who worked there, had tickets to go, and like it was like that night, and they got them for like 50 quid. And
Damn.
I was like, come off it,
Yeah.
you're being blagged to
Yeah.
there. And then we were having a joke about that, and he was like, no, I swear to God, like that's what he said. And then I was like, he's got tickets to some like tribute act or something at the O2. And then he was like, yeah, Taylor whiffed. I just thought that was so funny, like, you know. And that was literally while I was like at the self checkout thing, just scanning some bits. And then I was just like, oh, like take it easy, have a good rest of your weekend and all that. And it was so nice.
Well,
and just
life's
so
made
funny.
up of those consistent little moments.
It
So
is,
you'd rather
yeah.
have nice consistent little moments than nothing,
Yeah.
and then some little medium-sized
Yeah.
chunk of something which
No, definitely.
you know isn't that
And like the funny thing that I thought of before was on Sunday when I was at the market, these two lads came over to my stall, which is interesting because you wouldn't. When men come over to your stall, I'm always like interested in what's going on here.
what's
like,
the story? Yeah.
What's the story? Yeah, like usually, I mean, it's totally fine. Obviously, sometimes I'll think maybe they're buying for the sister or mum or girlfriends or something. Unless they seem like guys that have ear piercings and stuff and they're looking for themselves. But I'm always like interested, so I'm always just like, how's it going, guys? What's the crack? You know, what's going on? And I got talking to them for a bit, and they were going to see Liam Gallagher that night, and they were just in the area. Nice. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I was like, I saw Liam Gallagher briefly a few years ago, and then I was saying how we went to Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was there to see Lana Del Rey, but then we got there and in the distance we were in line to get like churros or something, and I just thought, is that Liam Gallagher? And then I don't know why I did this, but I did a really weird impression of him, like you know, when he like puts his hands behind his back and like leans forward like into the mic. And they both proper laugh. I don't think they were expecting it.
Oh, nice.
And then I was like, so you'll probably have a good night if he's anything like that. And then they were just laughing, and then they said that like the stuff that I make looks really nice, and I was like, oh, thanks very much.
It's nice. It's nice.
And then they were talking amongst themselves for a bit. And then they got off, and I was like, oh, I'll see you later, like enjoy the show and stuff. And then like 2 hours later they came back, and one of them was like, oh, I'm gonna get a pair of these for my girlfriend. I was like, oh, that's so nice. Like, you know, I was like, get my Instagram, like get her to follow me and all that, and you know, and then we just had a really nice like interaction. And then I was just thinking, like, if I hadn't have made that interaction as like general and funny and stuff, like would they have like even thought to come back after they'd gone for a coffee and stuff to pick something up? And
exactly.
Little
It's
things
nice.
like that
It's
come
nice,
back around, don't they?
Definitely.
You know, it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good.
Good.
Well, thanks for joining, guys.
I feel like it's been all about me again.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Next week we'll do a deep dive into Mike's psyche.
I feel as if at the minute I'm just sort of like I feel like what's you know, it's old news. It's I'm clearly just in a transitional period, and I think I'm just enjoying that. I mean, it's that thing of just being like, well, mentally, I know that I'm moving from one area to another, and with that comes like a big. It's like a big, it's a big thing. It's basically like it's like your brain rewiring itself and being like, I need to totally think differently about everything that I've done for the past 10 years, and just now it's becoming something else. And it's like, you think you're just going to do that in like a week or 2 weeks or a month or 2 months. It's going to take years to redefine what that looks like.
Definitely, yeah.
So what keeps happening, it's so funny, what keeps happening is, it's like, I'll be like, and especially like with last week and this week, I'll be like, right, sit, think, what is it you want to do? And I'm like, okay, well, look, keep writing in terms of, keep, every time I do like a short or a reel or a mini video, that to me is like, it's writing, it's coming up with something funny.
Definitely.
I'm being more strict. Yeah. I'm thinking more about the exact words that I'm going to say, how I'm going to do that. And that's a lot of fun. It's like, great, that is like a portfolio. Even though it's just social media, it is like a portfolio of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, so then what's the next step? And it's like, well, maybe I should have a look at some sort of, like doing some stand-up and doing some like, maybe seeing if there's any, like, not jobs, but if there's anything in terms of like casting calls for certain things. And then I had a look at some, there's a few like casting call websites that like, but then I went on like Trustpilot and whatever it is.
That like tests, like tells you if it's blind or not.
And it's like the resoundingly bad for like a bunch of them that I've seen, a bunch of them that I was a member of like back in the day of my drama school days. But so I was like, okay, so
scary world. That's
out the window. Don't want to do that for something. And then there was the whole modeling thing, which was like. I saw it across loads of websites. It's like, our male models are like minimum 6 foot. There's very little variation.
Yeah.
So it's like, right, okay, cool. So I just can't be a model now.
Yeah.
Not that I want. That's the thing. I don't want to be a model. It's like I'm opening the doors and being like, what does this look like?
How many stories do you hear as well of people who are in modeling and then they get into acting and they get into
that's
this?
It. And that's the thing. I don't think it's not the thing of like I don't think it's the acting thing. It's specifically the comedy stuff. But anyway, so it's like that's what I mean. There's a lot of these doors that are opening and closing and being like, okay, like I'm trying to. Oh well, there's an audition thing there. Okay, that looks kind of cool. Okay, all actors must submit headshots and video reel, showcase reel.
Right.
So I don't have a reel. So how do you get a reel? Well, you get a job, and then you can use that as the reel. So well, how'd you do that?
Can't you just make your own videos for a show
That's
reel?
the thing. It's that I don't really want to do that. Because my show reel would be something stupid. It'd be funny.
Well, that's what I mean. Make a parody show reel of like.
Yeah.
An actor trying to do all of show his versatility and stuff, but think of a comedic spin. Kind of like that perfume ad that you did. I thought that was really funny.
Thanks, honey. Yeah. And that could, but anyway, it's like I could just do those videos for me, and it's just because I'd enjoy it and I'd do that. And then I feel as if I do, and then I'm like, okay, great. And then I'm like, okay, great. So maybe like write like a short 5-minute stand-up thing, and then. And yeah, like make that video where it's like a blag show reel because that'd be funny. And then I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And then I'm like, very quickly this feeling of overwhelmed. I feel quite overwhelmed through all that because it's like again, it's not just the thing of like, say if I wanted to do a longer format video that was like a landscape as opposed to a reel that you can do. Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Of a reel that takes, you use your phone. I'm thinking like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to. It's gonna have to be landscape. I'm gonna have to do like I'm gonna have to sort of find a way to sync the sound because like with microphones and stuff like the iPhone, but whatever. So I start coming up with these. They're not excuses, but I feel as if
just little obstacles, things you haven't had to. Really deal with before.
And it's like, okay, well, that's not a good enough reason because you'd be like, if you find something funny and you've got it in your head, doesn't matter how it looks, you just do it, do it for the sake of making it and doing it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, and then I do that to an extent, and I'm still like working out and everything. I'm still doing my day-to-day routines. I'm still gigging, which I'm still, there's still a lot of that in my day-to-day. And then I'm like, but then I'll sort of sit at my computer and I'll be like, okay, here we go, and then somehow Elden Ring will open and I'll just find myself,
though, sweetheart, you've earned this little bit of like having not like taking your foot off the gas, because you're not, but like, you know, you've spent a long time getting to this point of having, you know, not only getting regular gigs and that's how you're affording, like that's how you're making a living, that's your income,
Yeah.
but also all of the time, energy, effort and money that you'd put into doing music, like being in the studio, music videos, getting this out here, recording this, doing that. And then, not that it's not at all that it's been for nothing, because it's all got to like where you are now and stuff, and you've met so many people and got so much experience from all of that. But now that you're like shifting into something else, it's like, you know, you've still got your gigs that you've worked hard to get, and now you're putting time into this. And then when you've got that downtime, because before you started playing Elden Ring again, you didn't really have anything that was like again.
Before you became a nerd again.
You didn't really have anything that you could just sort of kick back and enjoy with, and I think that's it's healthy to have something.
I think so too. I think it's a combination of the way how I'm rationalizing it in my mind is it's like it's like, okay, you spent 10 years trying to do this thing, and I've done it in one way successfully. I've become a full-time working musician.
Yeah.
I make a good living from it. I could keep doing what I'm doing, and I could be decent. You know, we could have a home. We could have this, that, and the other financial stability. And then I'm just like, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. So.
Yeah.
But you don't just close the door, because it's like that's closing a door to all this stuff.
Yeah.
But then you're like, okay, I've realised that that's not what I want, and now it's like there's this other path that I want to go down, and it's like, right, okay. And I think what's happening in my mind is it's like just have like a bit of time. Just have a bit of time to be like, it's not like you just sat eating pizza, taking, you know, just 12 hours a day gaming.
Not
it's
at
like
all.
just take some time to be like, it's okay. Like you're redefining basically
and
the whole structure of your life.
That takes a lot of brain power.
It takes a lot of brain power. It takes
I read
a lot
the
of.
other day saying like, you know, a big part of being an artist, no matter what that means to you, if you're doing creative arts, music, acting, writing, anything like that, a big part of that is kind of not doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
so then it's like you have those periods where
you have periods where you're kind of figuring things out, you're going back to a drawing board, which is good. It's good to be at a drawing board stage and you're writing and you're putting things together, but then your output of work might not be big, but it's like an iceberg situation. It's like there's a lot going on under the surface.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's totally okay for you to just have a bit of time to just, especially to just take the pressure off as well. Like,
a little bit,
you know,
and to realize as well, it's like you're 27, you're only 27. You know, you're only 27, and like loads of people's lives ended there. You know,
So true.
and it feels as if that It's funny, it's that, you know, this, it's a bit of a cheesy metaphor, but it's like that's, you know, that whole thing for me has kind of ended at that age, and this new thing is taken off. And it's like, you know, it's okay. Like, I know in myself that and it's, again, it goes back to that thing that we were talking about. I don't need to second guess myself. I don't need to be in my own head thinking, well, look, you used to you do music, you know, right now I'd be out busking, I'd be out being like, I'd be chasing magazines for reviews. And it's like, look, it's okay, it's all right if you have a month, 2 months, take a year, you know, just
Absolutely.
like do what, you know, just have some time,
big
like
part of it,
you know, and the fact that I can afford that, to do that, because I still have work that I can do.
Exactly.
That's my thing. So I guess for me it's like trying to be okay with that, because I was, you know, I have this thing as well where I worry about, like, it's, you know, the dopamine hits, and it's like, is it a bit it's like okay, what would you like to do today? And we've got loads of stuff that we're doing today. We're doing the podcast,
lots of good work stuff,
we're filming content, we've already been to the gym, we've smashed the gym, we've done that, like, and then it's like, awesome, let's do that. But then there is this proper itch at the back of my head where I'm like, I just want to go and explore Limgrave. Limgrave is one of the places in Elden Ring. You know, and it's like
you definitely can, but you know that things need to happen first.
But that's the thing though, because it's like I don't sit here going like, I can't wait for tea because I'm just gonna get a Mackey's.
Yeah.
Because then I'd be like, whoa, hang on, like, what's going on? Why do you want a Mackey's? Something's going on there.
Yeah.
Why Mackey's? Because you know it's bad for you.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's a similar thing of this thing of like, that is almost becoming a distraction, and it's taking me away from the work that
I
needs to be
wouldn't
done.
say so.
But that's the thing.
You put in a bit of time every day or every other day or something. It's really not, and it's much better than sitting there like scrolling on your phone. You know, you're like, there's a lot of like good things that come from. It's like how I like will just watch a movie in the middle of the day sometimes because I'm like, I'm gonna just watch this movie, and it's like, well, what's the point? Like, what do you gain after it? It's like, well, I've gained some experience of seeing something like visual. It's,
I know, but then look at what we, it was like last week. It was like we said at the start of last week, when you were in a bit of a funk, and we were like, okay, where are our finances at? And we were like, let's lock in. And you locked in, and I locked in.
Yeah.
I went and I was looking at my stuff that was that my royalties and my cash outs from music distribution services from Patreon and stuff.
Yeah.
And I got all that stuff together, and I was like, wow, like there's actually some decent money in the bag here that I need to get out of those accounts and move over.
Absolutely.
I was gigging, I was doing private parties, I was doing
and
this.
And you were being a big morale booster for me as well.
Oh yeah.
So that helps me a lot. Get out there and do stuff, which gives us money and stuff, and.
But it was like, but we were doing it. We were locked in. It was like, this feels good. Look, we're locking in. We're locking into this. We're doing good work here. It's good.
It's a
system. It's moving. And then it's like, okay, good. Keep doing that.
Yeah.
Keep lock it. Don't take your foot off the pedal and go and do this other. Don't be just sat at your desk playing.
No, but
Elden
you
Ring,
wouldn't until a certain point. Like I was the same. I'd be getting back from the gym. I'd be at Cow all day, and then I'd go to the gym, and then I'd come back, and then I'd prep some food, and then you'd go and gig. And then I'd go to my desk for like 2 hours making stuff. Then you get back from your gig. You'd have your food. I'd have a cup of tea and we'd watch a bit of telly. And at that point, I was like, oh, I love this feeling of just like, I can just sit back, watch this show, feel super relaxed, but feel really like accomplished for the day. And then my equivalent is like, watch a bit of Better Call Saul. Then I might get into bed and like watch a bit of YouTube that I've missed out on, and then you'll go and like play a bit of a video game. Like that's great. Like that's a lovely balance.
That is a good balance, and it's like it just needs to stay at that balance.
If you were getting up and going and if I like imagine like us waking up, oh, morning sweetheart, and you're like, oh, I'll be right back, and then I just hear you like playing it the other way, I'd be like, Mike, come on, like you would never do that.
No, I couldn't do that.
Like, Mike, come on. Or like you get back from the out of the shower, I'm like, sweetie, brekkies ready.
Yeah.
And you're like, hang on, and I come in there and you're on Elden Ring, like, these things would be things that I'd be like, Mike, maybe let's have a little bit of a self check.
I love it though. At the minute, I just don't know
I love watching you play.
I didn't love it the first time I played it. I wasn't having this much fun.
You weren't, but I love that though. It's giving you some fun and.
Yeah, and I need to stop. It's like it's the duality of the. Yeah, it's all right. Take some time, have some fun. It's okay.
You define what it means and what it is. Like.
Yeah.
I haven't got anything like that in my life at the minute. I'm not really playing a game. I'm really enjoying.
You should play Elden Ring. Oh, you should get it.
It's not for me. It's too big.
Hey, it's hard. You've said that before, and you've gotten used to it.
I got Fallout 4 again recently, and I haven't even played it because it's like I just don't quite think that's my. She
made Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad as the character, which is hilarious.
Looked nothing like it apart from that he was
bald and fat.
And yeah, Hank isn't even a big guy. Well, he's got a bit of a belly.
I don't mean fat in a derogatory way. I just mean he's a big guy. He's and it's not muscle. No,
it's definitely not muscle. Yeah. It's
love. Who's the guy that plays him?
Dean Norris.
Love Dean Norris though. No hate there to but when that phrase, let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Well, it's I think it means
call it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's not like a dodgy thing to say, is it? You can say let's call a spade, right?
I think so.
That's
I don't really know. Again, I don't really know a lot about that phrase.
I don't. I just have a feel. I have this weird thing in my head that it's like it means something it's in some way offensive, but
we'll look into it.
I don't think it is. It's like let's say what it is.
Yeah,
like,
let's say it how it is. Yeah.
I was only saying that I only brought it because the whole calling Hank Schrader fat, because he is. Well, he's not. Yeah,
the character that I made on Fallout, the scale of which you can drag their body weight. I wanted to create the belly situation, but when you drag the the size, it
Yeah.
just all the whole body balloons
Yeah.
like a marshmallow. So
Yeah.
he was this very fat guy.
Big guy,
Yeah.
big guy.
But yeah, so I haven't really got anything like that at the minute. There's not really any games that I'm like into, but at the minute I'm really just loving watching movies and watching
That's great.
watching my show,
That's great.
thinking of good movies to watch. And then I really want to like get into sports this summer. I want to play some b-ball. I want to play some tennis. And
What?
tennis.
Tennis?
What's that?
Tennis.
Oh right.
Tennis.
Okay. Nice. So, you know.
That'd be a really fun thing to do actually with the Keep Growing Club. To imagine
Yeah.
like if you got 6 people.
Turn just into a basketball 3
and
on 3.
let's go. We're gonna meet up. We're gonna go and play some basketball.
That'd be sick.
And that's something that we announced. Yeah, this will be coming out tomorrow. So this was yesterday.
But yesterday we announced the Keep Growing Club.
The Keep Growing Club, yeah.
Which
is super excited
it's really
about.
exciting, and we don't really even know what it's going to be yet. We just want to start before anything's like perfect. We just want to start actually having some in-person meetups with people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether that's like getting a coffee, going for walks, runs, activities, like just anything. It can totally mold into anything, but I just think the idea of being like, oh yeah, I go this like thing once a week or once a fortnight, and it's just a bunch of us, and it's just really positive, it's
yeah, exactly.
It's a good space for like
to spread that and to try and like how many people like you and I get it. We had it last week. You're getting a bit of a funk. You're like, oh God, what's going on? And it'd be nice to think of that you could have this little thing where you meet up and say, hey, how's it going? What's going on with you?
Yeah.
And it's like, this is a space where it's like, yeah, you can be honest, and you can be like, I think's challenging at the minute, but the whole point of it is to be like, well,
there's people here, and this is something that's like, it's support.
And you're going to get positivity from us, but then it's your job to also put that positivity onto someone else as well, and to make that into a chain thing,
for sure.
And even if it's just us getting a coffee, and well, that's going to be great. And even if one person shows up, that's going to be awesome.
Exactly, it's one person there that's like, I'm gonna go along because I like bit of positivity, some self-improvement. Like I like the idea of just meeting up and putting myself out there, and so
we should just make it so unappealing. We should do like worksheets, like comprehension sheet questions, icebreakers.
There'll be none of that, don't worry. But yeah, come and hang out with us on Tuesday the 25th, I think it was. A week
from today.
It's the
18th today. Yesterday. So 7 days from today. 18 plus 7 is, if I'm not mistaken, it's the 25th. Yeah.
25th, Tuesday 25th at 6 p.m. at Bee and Coffee, which is on College Lane, right near the Cafe Nero and Waterstones.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see you there, hopefully.
It's gonna be really fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah. And just to, it's again like the idea of just meeting people. And to meet people like in a sort of semi-organic way.
Definitely,
I might try and spread it a bit more. I might try and like go to the Tesco and be like, hey guys, we're doing a thing here if you want to come along, and
anyone is welcome.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Might wrap her up there.
Preach. The moral of the story this week is to examine how on our asses. Well, how on Meg's
examine our asses.
how much on Meg's arse she was last week.
Yeah.
And how it was all not great, and it was all looking terrible.
Yeah.
And just look at and another thing, just quickly before we wrap up, and then all of the week passed with the markets, blah blah, and then Monday comes around. And it was like, I was like, I'm thinking I'm going to go for a run. And Meg was like, I've been on my feet. I'm knackered. Oh, God, I've been a lot on my feet. And I've been to the gym and I've been working. And I'll come with you to the park. But I think I'm just going to do like a walk. I think I'm just going to take it easy. And I was like, yeah, whatever you want to do. She runs a 5K non-stop in the bag, under 40 minutes. She gets it done. And it's like, wow, look at that.
Thank you.
just...
That was amazing. I don't know how I did that.
well, it was
It just happened. Yeah.
well, you know, all of what had just come that week of you being like, just get up and do it, get up and do it, get up and do it, and then, you know, I was like, yeah, you know, you do whatever you feel comfortable with, and then you just go and run a 5K like it's nothing. So yeah,
but yeah,
you've had a massively 180 week.
Yeah,
super proud of you, honey.
Thank you.
And
I couldn't have done it without you.
That's true. No, that's horseshit, as people would say.
It's horseshit. But yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one, okay?
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bum, bum, bum.